So next up, podcast listeners, Florida hires vets with no teaching experience. This is a pretty cool story, by the way. If you've ever wondered about what vets can do when they come back from combat, or what they can do when they retire, maybe if they never served actually in combat, but they served in the U.S. military forces, here's one great idea. Florida tells its schools to ignore Biden's gender identity rules, and at the same time, Florida schools decide to hire vets without any teaching experience whatsoever. Now think about that. Most states, especially blue states, they are requiring teachers to get master's degrees over a period of time. First and foremost, the teacher has to have a bachelor's degree, okay, usually in teaching. And then after they teach for a certain amount of time, they're actually increasingly, blue states are, requiring those same teachers to have master's degrees. I personally think that's nonsense. I really do, especially in K to 12. I'm not saying that it's not beneficial to have a bachelor's degree. I think it's nonsense to require a master's degree. And I also think it's nonsense to be inflexible about the fact that someone has to have, at a minimum, a bachelor's degree. So let me explain that. Let me unpack that. If you are a teacher and you have a master's degree or you have a bachelor's degree, great. That's wonderful. You should be able to teach, all right? But let's just say you're a vet and you've retired and you're educated and or you're experienced in nuclear sub building and nuclear sub maintenance, just literally thousands and thousands of areas in the military that you would be an expert in. You can come in and offer unique ideas and skill sets as a teacher that someone with a bachelor's degree could never, ever, in teaching that is, could never, ever offer. And to me, this just makes common sense, because what it does is it creates much more diversity and much more perspective to the public school teaching environment. So with about 3 weeks left until students start the new school year, Florida is taking a new approach to address its current teacher shortage, which is really the issue, by the way. There's a huge teacher shortage. It's turning to veterans to head to the classroom and teach. The Florida Education Association reports more than 9,000 vacancies, 4,300 teaching jobs, and 5,200 non-teaching essential jobs. At the same time, the state is trying to expand workforce opportunities for veterans. The Florida Department of Education announced that the military veterans could receive 5-year vouchers to allow them to teach in the classroom without a teaching degree. The move is tied to $8.6 million the state announced would be used to expand career and workforce training opportunities for military veterans. So this actually is kind of a good compromise. You're saying, hey, you're a vet. You can teach in our school system for up to 5 years without a bachelor's degree and without a teaching degree. But at some point, you're going to have to go within that 5-year period and get your teaching degree, or you can't work here. But in the meantime, you're going to get paid and you can teach for 5 consecutive years. I think if we had more experiments like this across the country, we would find a great deal of common ground with our public education system. And I think people would regain confidence that there's not only just one way of teaching, and that we would have a great deal of diversity of thought in public education as well. So way to go, Florida. Way to go, Florida, for hiring vets with no teaching experience, not just to fill teaching vacancies, but at the same time to bring in more diversity of thought into the public school environment.